Hi everyone! Today I wanted to tell you about one of my favorite plants, Sedum album. And if you've been following me on Instagram, you would have seen my videos on how I use this plant, not only for growing in the garden, but also for all sorts of different projects. Because what I am always doing is I'm using what I've got. So I'm trying to show you as well how you can use plants that are growing in your garden for growing in pots, and basically use what you've got rather than buying plants, bedding plants that only last a season and wasting money really, because there are so many amazing plants that grow in our gardens that can be used in pots, that can be used for seasonal displays, and they really are amazing. And one of them is Sedum album. I'm going to show you in a minute what it looks like. It really is a lovely plant. So this is Sedum album, and as you can see, it is a succulent and it flowers in the summertime. It produces lovely white flowers. Really amazing plant, and very easy to grow as well. Super easy to propagate, and for me it really deserves a special mention because, as I say, I always use what I've got, and this plant can be used in so many different ways. And I would like to show you how I propagate it and why I grow it here in this pot. It's just because I have my own little nursery, and I grow all my plants from seeds and cuttings because I just never really know when I will need them. And this is one of them. It really is very easy to propagate. It thrives in full sun, so we need to remember that it really needs a lot of sun, but it will grow anywhere in terms of soil. I wanted to show you what we do with this plant now and how you can easily propagate it and create more of them. My initial cutting came from eBay. I think I bought it for £1. I must say that I discovered this plant when I was looking for a solution for our front garden. As I mentioned, I've got a concrete just outside our house, and there's not really much I can grow. So I came up with this idea that I could plant something with very short roots. So something that doesn't need deep containers. And it just needs a little bit of soil because it's a succulent, so it's drought tolerant, so you don't really need to water it. It really is a fantastic plant for busy people because it is low maintenance as well, and just looks absolutely wonderful. And when it flowers, it produces masses of white flowers. It looks really classy and just lovely. They like white clouds, the flowers on top of the plant. So it really is absolutely wonderful. But what I wanted to show you is how you can easily propagate it. And I have few trays with this plant just to because again I just never really know when I will need it, and that's why I propagate plants. They are always there for me, and if I suddenly come up with some ideas of creating a new planter, or there is an area of my garden that needs planting, I don't go to the garden center, I don't buy plants, I just use what I've got. And not only it is environmentally friendly, but also it saves me a huge amount of money because, as I said it many times, that I probably spent about £1,000 on my garden in the past 10 years. I really hardly spent any money on my garden, and I do have thousands of plants, but they all propagated. So I show you what I do with this one now at the end of the summer. So what I do next, in the summertime we need to deadhead Sedum album if we can. So what I do, I remove the dry flower heads from my sedum, and what I do as well, I prune it. And when you prune it, your plant becomes bushier and it grows really well. So when you prune, you can the bits of the stem that you prune can be used as cuttings. And what I use is actually old compost from my planters that I had last year, and Sedum album is so easy to grow that it will be absolutely happy in anything. So no need to buy new compost, no need to spend money on special compost. It is absolutely fine, is disease resistant, and it's such a great plant. So what I do, I simply use a tray and I prune my sedum and I let the stems just randomly land on my compost that I prepared. So what will happen next, this sedum will fill the pot because I prune it. It's a bit like pinching out. So as you can imagine, each of the stems will produce side shoots, and I show you a tray that I have prepared a few days ago, and the sedum already started rooting, which is another benefit because it's so happening so quick. So this will now develop new side shoots, and it will become fuller and bushier, and then it can be used next year for my projects. With this one, what I do, I just kind of scatter around the stems randomly, and as soon as a stem touches the compost, it will start rooting, and it's just the easiest way. You can water it, but you can also leave it outside, and those plants will root very, very quickly. That's all you need to do, and it takes few minutes really. And now I show you the other tray. I did the same thing as I have just showed you, and as you can see, all those little shoots started growing, because as soon as they touch the ground, and I just pull one, it's absolutely fine, they're just so good. As soon as they touch the ground, they start creating roots, and they can be transplanted, they can be planted in pots. You see, this one is another one. They all started growing into that compost, and they are just amazing. They are evergreen, so they will stay green over winter, and I leave them in those trays over winter. They don't need any protection. So you see, they all started rooting, just so you see. Just amazing plant. So you see, they started rooting, and they can be planted even for your autumn arrangements. There's so many different ways you can use them. I will give you some ideas. They would look wonderful with cyclamen, with anything really, and they're such a easy to grow plant. So you see, this is my tray for probably this year or maybe even next year, and 3 plants, all from just one tiny cutting from eBay. And in a minute I show you. So look, are just absolutely wonderful little cutting, actually seedling, because it has got roots and it can be planted in some lovely quirky pots and containers, and it's really lovely. I show you in a minute how I planted it and how I use it in the garden and in pots as well. So this, in my opinion, is thinking outside the box, and that's what we need to do. Instead of just going and buying new plants, we have to think, how can we use what we've got? And this is what I've done here. This is the concrete area I was talking about earlier. So underneath here there is only about an inch of soil, and Sedum album is absolutely happy. You see, I planted it again from that one tiny cutting. I've got my erigeron just above, growing in pots, and I used this Sedum album here. I get a bit closer. So I used this Sedum album as a ground cover. It keeps the weeds away, and it's evergreen, so it stays green over winter. And it really is a fantastic way of using a plant that is just so easy to grow and so easy to propagate. So this area is evergreen all winter, so you can see it's like a green carpet, and in the summertime it turns white This plant produces lovely white flowers. I also grow it in pots, in mixed planters, and I show you how they look like. So this year I created a big planter with mixed plants, and I called it Use What You've Got. And this is another example. I planted plants that were available in my garden, plants that I have propagated, and one of them was Sedum album, and I show you how wonderful it is. It adds extra texture. It flowers white, so you get flowers. They are wonderful for pollinators, so that's another benefit. And it just looks so good. You can see how it grows through dahlias and just other plants, and it really is a great plant to have and to propagate, because it takes you minutes, and you have you can use it as a filler for planters. I will create an autumn one as well, so this is the summer one, and really is fantastic. I really love this plant. I'll show you another one. So there it is, another one, and I just love the shape of the plant, and just a really lovely, easy to grow, easy to look after plant, and so easy to propagate as well. You can tell that I love this plant because I've got it everywhere. So there is another one. This one was only planted recently, but again, on the table in your garden you can just have a Sedum album planted in all sorts of planters and pots, and it just looks so nice. There's a bit of it here as well. It's just such a great plant. So there's one planter that is just with the Sedum album. This one does not have any other plants, and it also is lovely. And again, it is evergreen, so you see, you get so much out of this plant. So much, and it's just so lovely how is the shape of it, and it's free. And it will flower, so you get interest all year round really from this plant, because now it's the end of the season, but it still looks lovely and green, and it will stay green over winter, and then it starts growing in the springtime, and it flowers in early summer. So it really is a great plant as a single plant in a pot like this, or in a mixed one as I just showed you. You see, I sometimes also what I do, sometimes I just drop few stems here, and they will root as well very quickly, and that's how easy it is to propagate. So you can have it in your garden somewhere where you have a little gap, and you just leave it like that and it will root. Yeah, so this is what it is, creative gardening for me, and also gardening in harmony with nature, because as you can see from this example with Sedum album, I just use what I've got. And actually, when you start looking around at the plants that are available in your garden, often perennial plants, the plants that normally grow in our gardens, but they can be used in so many different ways if we think outside the box, because you know, bedding plants only last a season, and you have to buy them online or you have to go to a garden center. There is all the packaging that comes with it, and we gardeners have to change the way we garden, and we all have to change the way we do certain things. And this is not very painful because we still enjoy it, it's still lovely, but it saves us also a lot of money. And you know, if we can spend, it's great, but we shouldn't be spending and wasting. And I'm trying to change the way we think. I'm trying to show you how you can use less, waste less, and just simply less of everything, but still have a great time and enjoy it, because propagation is such a wonderful thing to do. And I really hope you will enjoy it, you will get inspired, and I will be back with another video. So thanks ever so much. Please subscribe to my channel if you like, and I will bring you some more ideas and something else to learn.